It's Rick Rainer Jr., aka Ghost. Welcome to the Ghost in a Shell channel, podcast, whichever this ends up landing on. So I just wanted to give a few pointers on perhaps overcoming fears when creating online content. Like maybe you're an aspiring influencer and you don't even know it, right? A lot of that times that can happen is you could be operating in something and not understand it or not know that you're actually, let's say that you're a coach, but you don't know you're a coach, but you do coaching things, right? That's what we mean by that. So a positive way to look at negative thoughts is to turn those things into wood, change them into, change your perspective on what they are, right? Because negative thoughts are like, if you want to put it in this tense, in this vocabulary, I guess you would say, is as an analogy. Okay, first off, we got to change our perspective on negative thoughts. What are they, right? They're those bloodsuckers, those vampires, those energy, well, I don't know. There's those things that just take away your energy and power from you, and eventually by the end of the day, you're just in this state of mind where you don't want to talk to nobody, you want to be around nobody, and it's just a tough time for you, right? So what I'm suggesting is that when you change your perspective on, they called and it rang once and then they hung up. What was I saying? Okay, so changing your perspective on negative thoughts, those blood-sucking thoughts, right? All they want to do is latch onto your mind and then continue taking all your positive energy so much that it gets to this point where you're just like sick of the day and you just want it to be over, right? Now, when it comes to changing your perspective, it's not easy. It isn't easy. But as quick as it could be to changing your perspective at the snap of fingers is as fast as you could see your life start to change right before your eyes. But it takes the groundwork on the inside, right? You got to be willing to hop inside of your mind and say, hey, you, no, you're not going to run this, right? Overcome the barriers of not being afraid to step inside of yourself and let yourself know who the boss is. It's not your brain. It's not your subconscious mind. It's not your super ego. It's none of that stuff. It's you consciously awake inside of yourself. Like, hey, I'm ready to make some moves. Brain, I'm going to surf you right now, right? I'm going to surf you right now so that way we can make sure we stay in alignment with each other, I guess you would say, or not alignment, but we could, so that way you understand who the boss is in this vessel, right? You take a stand. You have the courage to say, I'm going to do this, but you're not going to tell me what to do, right? So if a thought happens to come in your mind and it's loud and clear and you know at the core of yourself, I am not that. I am not this. I am not what you tell me. Have the balls to stand up inside of yourself and be like, today's the day that we start turning the table, right? We start changing things in order for me to find comfort in myself, to be able to face my fears and go and do things in my life that I believe are um I like to say that are wise investments to for my life. I was gonna say profitable, but I mean that too. It's just how you would look at things. Now let's look at it from a big picture, right? Let's say that negative thoughts are like when a person goes and takes a salary for $25,000, right? Usually it's like a part-time job, and they're just getting that so that way maybe they can um, do some other things on the side. They can, work on their own online business or work on their own business physically and do all these other things that they have their mind set to, or their goals, or whatever it is, right? So what we're saying is that $25,000 part time is like a cap on investment, or is like a cap on your income investment, right? It's a cap you put on your income, and it won't grow anymore. So what you got to change your perspective on your negative thoughts is by looking at them like that. They're checkpoints. You get to one checkpoint, okay, what is it that I got to learn in order for this thought not to have any power over me? Because when it has power over me, it shows I'm stuck in this area and it keeps occurring, right? So when it keeps occurring, I don't like calling them patterns. I don't like calling them cycles. But the best way to put it is cycles. There's these cycles that can occur, and when they continue occurring, it's letting you know there's something about it that you got to learn, that you're doing, or that you're saying, or that you might be thinking, right? And it's just not letting you have that, what is it? That upper hand to be like, no, dude, I believe that I'm better than this. I really do believe that I'm better than that. So if you believe that you are the negative thought, then it's like saying, okay, I'm putting myself in this category of income. I'm putting myself in a part-time job believing who I am. I'm putting myself in a part-time job, putting a cap on my happiness because this thought says um, I'm a bad person. This thought says I'm evil, or I'm, stupid thoughts that just happen to pop up in your head. Maybe it is like a visual thought. Maybe it's like just a vocal voice. I hear a vocal voice sometimes, and it's loud and clear sometimes. And then there's other times where I just hear a voice that's real silent and quiet and peaceful and calm. And it's those times that I live for. Hearing that one little voice just speak a little something into my life, and then I can go and start making things happen. So anyways, like we were saying, when you take that part-time income mindset about negative thoughts, you are putting a cap on yourself by not allowing yourself to move on to the next level of, I guess you would say, a mental income, right? When your mental income is poor, that means you're living poorly. You're choosing to live a certain way, but you're not challenging the way that you're wanting. You're not challenging the way that you're currently living in order to move to the next checkpoint, which is how you could be living, right? Is that making sense? So the way that you could be living is by living without a cap, without fears, right? Fears are something that somebody would use as psychological warfare. If I wanted to stop you from doing better in your life, I would use psychological warfare, and I would slightly start by telling you, maybe you could do it. Maybe you can't. Those little things. And then it's going to mainly land on if that thought just goes over your head, or how mentally strong you have built yourself up to, right? Once you have built yourself up to a certain point, eventually these things just, oh, that's just outside opinion. Hey, but thanks for the offer. I'll pass on that one. Then you just imagine a little hand pulling out that thought, put it on a cloud, let that thought turn the cloud to black, and then push it away until that cloud just, what is it? Until that cloud just evaporates, right? Get strategic with the way that you keep yourself clean spiritually. Get strategic with the way that you keep yourself clean mentally. If you're not kicking thoughts out, then what are you doing? Why would you harness thoughts that are going to hold you back from bringing out endless amounts of potential? And potential meaning not just the things that you can make yourself do physically, but the way that you can think mentally, the different ways you could become, the warrior in your mindset, right? That's what I got on my website is the mindset warrior. So what is the warrior that's in you that's gonna come out and that's gonna jump at out at those moments where you got to be able to succeed. You got to be able to not be let fear hold you back from performing at your best all the time, and not just consistent here, consistent there, not so consistent. You know what I mean? Not just being the top performer, but becoming exceptionally exceptional, right? Being able to be so consistent that it's like, dang, like that person is amazing. Not that we're not to the point where people will be like, I want to be like him. We don't. It's not to get to that point, but it's to get to the point where it's like, wow, bruh, how do I do that? Right? Not I want to be like him. No, you want how do I do that? How the hell do I do that too? But it takes time and it takes self-belief and some self-discovery for you to hop inside of that mind, for you to pull it out and be like, what else could I do? What else am I capable of? I believe that you are limitless in your mind, but I can only believe it for you. I just can't believe it. I can't make you believe it and make you want to believe it, right? I can only encourage you, whisper it to your ear gently, quietly, peacefully, lovingly, carefully, and patiently. But I can't be the one that ultimately steps inside of your mind and is like, hey, it's time to go get to work. It's time to go do something with this life. You get one life. Eminem says it best. One opportunity. One opportunity, bro, to live this life according to how you think. Okay, I gotta pause it until they pass. Now, we're not talking about reincarnation, but I do believe that you get multiple chances as far as coming back and living a whole new life and not remembering who you were before, like whatsoever at all. You get no memory of who you were. Now, that's a whole different topic for a whole different video. But I will say is thinking of it in this way. I got to keep going. I can't wait for them. I got this flow moving, so it's got to pour out. So thinking of it in that way that you get one life, man, and time goes one way, right? I've said this in one of my videos and my podcasts. Time goes one way. You can either look back at it or you can look forward to it. And I'd rather be in charge of what's coming toward me than keep dwelling on what happened, right? And keep staying back there where things used to be and things that I can't change, when I can focus on working on what's coming this way. I can strategize on what's gonna happen and what could happen, right? Go inside yourself and set the authority. Set it. You got a conscious voice. Why else would you have it? It doesn't mean that you're exercising your will on the people around you. It doesn't mean that you're exercising your will against anybody. But hey, you got free will. You might as well exercise it on yourself. Who else? Who else is going to do it? Nobody can jump in you. Nobody can tell you which thoughts that you're having. Unless they're such a psychic that they can hear every little thought in your mind. I haven't come across them yet. Nobody can hear what's in your mind except you. And the only reason that we would be able to hear it is through your body language. How you act in the world. By what we see from this face. That's how we can tell who is at the face of the earth. Is it you or is it fear?